Officers removed after counting extra ballot papers. Called to testify at UBS Royal Commission of Inquiry. And land issue stops project in Alotau.
This is National EMTV News with Shamaine Poriambep.
Welcome. This is Tuesday's news. Police have removed at least 2 counting officials from the Moresby Northwest by-election counting venue after they were found counting extra ballot papers for 2 different candidates. This happened just after 12 p.m. today. Our news crew was at the counting venue and witnessed the removal of one of the counting officials.
Today marks 3 weeks since the counting for the Moresby Northwest by-election commenced. Initially, the Electoral Commission had planned to complete counting in the first 7 days. However, that has dragged on for 2 weeks now. Today, EMTV News was at the counting venue and witnessed the removal of a counting official by police officers. This official was found counting 42 extra ballot papers during the quality checks. Primary counting concluded last Tuesday, and officials are still doing quality checks, with less than 3 ballot boxes still yet to be checked. Businessman Lohia Boy Samuel maintains a commanding lead with 16,985 votes. Joe Tonde is in second place with 8,848 votes, and Dr. Thaddeus Kambane is third in the race with 5,604 votes. Much of the delay in the counting was due to various discrepancies raised by scrutineers during the primary counting and lack of logistic support from the Electoral Commission. Once the quality check is completed, officials will count the second and third preferences. Thaklagunga, National EMTV News.
The Royal Commission of Inquiry into the 2014 PNG government UBS loan has recommenced. Prime Minister James Marape attended the inquiry yesterday at the APEC House. Marape said the inquiry is not to pinpoint debt figures, but to iron out the transaction involved and why PNG government had opted to acquire the loan.
The UBS loan was acquired in 2014 with no clear line drawn on why and how the transaction transpired. With the Commission of Inquiry kicking off yesterday, those involved are now being tasked to present the story. Prime Minister James Marape, who was then the Finance Minister in the O'Neill regime, was present yesterday to testify. Speaking after the inquiry, PM Marape says the inquiry is to clear the purpose and why the acquisition of the 3 billion kina loan from the Swiss bank.
This is part of a process so that Papua New Guinea government system must not be used by 1 or 2 persons in positions of authority to siphon off millions of kina for our people that should have supported budget, for instance, at the time 2014 budget, into an investment that today we don't own any more shares in oil sets. It's totally lost, including the money we lost.
Former Treasurer and Kandap MP Don Pole also presented his side of the story yesterday. He was then the Treasurer back then when the loan was acquired, but he was sacked after he refused to sign instruments for the loan. PM Marape says the inquiry is not to pinpoint fingers but to iron out discrepancies surrounding the transaction.
It is to look into the entire transaction, differentiate what was IPIC deal. And as I told the inquiry today, IPIC deal was a masterclass. It was something that needs to be done at that point in time by the Somalia government. They did it for us to secure direct equity in the PNG LNG project.
Marape also urged the Union Bank of Switzerland to attend to the inquiry. He says with all findings gathered and scaled down, the inquiry hopes to refer those responsible to answer or face the ultimate penalty.
This inquiry has a criminal prosecution intent to it. We'll go down this path. And for those who use our country to benefit for themselves and benefit for organizations, well, I hope that this inquiry will unearth those with criminal culpability, and due restitution will take place, and due penalty prosecutions will take place at the conclusion of this inquiry. global scale, I call upon UBS. Wherever you are, whether it was UBS Australia facilitate this one, UBS should come and assist this inquiry. So please, my local media, sound it out to UBS. This is not something that is targeting only myself or our local politics. It's far bigger than this one.
Alotau Jr., National EMTV News.
The Chief Justice today announced the appointment of a leadership tribunal to inquire into allegations of misconduct in office by the Deputy Prime Minister and member for Bulolo Sem Basil. The appointment follows a request made by the Public Prosecutor Ponderous Kalwin to the Chief Justice under Section 27 of the Organic Law on the Duties and Responsibilities of Leadership. The tribunal will be chaired by Justice Alan David. The tribunal will commence as soon as a date is fixed. A memorandum of understanding will now pave way for technical fisheries training in TVET centres in the country. The MOU was signed yesterday in Port Moresby by the National Fisheries Authority and the Department of Education. NFA is hoping the training will later be developed into a diploma program to cater for grade 12 school leavers.
Another significant occasion for the training and upskilling for Papua New Guinea's human resource in the fisheries sector. Education Secretary and the NFA boss signed the MOU. The NFA Acting Managing Director says over 3 million kina has been invested in this initiative since 2014.
And we look forward to, through this partnership, to work with to upskilling young Papua New Guineans coming through this institution, but also to strengthen these institutions so they continue to provide quality fisheries training and education over time.
The partnership aligns with one of government's medium-term development plan goals, that is to maximize economic returns through sustainable management and development of the fisheries sector. The head of NFA says the training is based on training needs conducted in 2011.
This new qualification combines all the fields of fisheries under one training component, which now allows a student to graduate with multiple skills in post-harvest operations, commercial fishing operations, which is the technology component, the general fishing skills and aquaculture skills, which ultimately, with this qualification, enables a better skill trainee in all fields required in the fishing industry.
Fisheries qualification now conducted in the TVET centers include Certificate in Commercial Fishing Operations, Certificate 1 in Post-Harvest Operations, and Certificate in Aquaculture. The training is hoped to develop later into a diploma program, including its extension, curriculum review, and teacher training.
The signing here will ensure that we will continue to complete the process in curriculum development, assessment, and actual implementation at the schools level. We will need to look at further with NFA to expand the number of institutions that provide these courses in fishing. So this MOU will ensure that we expand.
Alotau Jr., National EMTV News.
Outstanding land agreements between landowners in Maramatana LLG and the Coconut Industry Corporation has stalled plans to set up a coconut gin bank in the LLG. A total of 227 hectares of land will be used to plant 57 coconut varieties from all over Papua New Guinea. Maramatana local level government is in the Alotau district of Milne Bay province. Coconut Industry Corporation has its eye on this part of the country to store all coconut varieties or simply setting up a seed bank.
This gin bank is going to introduce coconut farming systems. You're going to run vanilla under coconut, you're going to run cocoa under coconut, you're going to run taro under coconut, you're going to run pineapples under coconut. We've tried all of these ones. We know we got the results. They are all captured. And once we start this one, we will start that.
But the slow progress in purchasing the land has seen the first lot of seeds collected in the southern region planted in Misima and Bubuleta. The managing director of Coconut Industry Corporation, Alan Aku, explains that once the Maramatana Coconut Institution is set up, then the 47 varieties of the tall coconuts and the 14 dwarf varieties will be planted in the LLG.
This place is not going to be only gene bank. It's going to be the next coconut research center, like one in Medan, is going to be replicated here. So we got 43 tall varieties, and we got 14 dwarfs. Okay? So those coconuts are going to be planted here. This institution is not just for Papua New Guinea, it's for the South Pacific. It's an international coconut gene bank. Okay? There are 5 in the world, and one is hosted, the South Pacific one is hosted by Papua New Guinea.
KIK has set aside funding for the land purchase. However, because of land boundary issues, the land had to be resurveyed. From the total of 227 hectares allocated, KIK is purchasing 120 hectares, and the Maramatana LLG will own 107 hectares. This way, the LLG is able to make money from this agreement.
We did that agreement because we want to help the Maramatana LLG to also create its own revenue. We've gone through 4 years of trying to get the titles correct because Maramatana didn't really have the title. So we wanted them to have a genuine title before we do the transfer. They have given the contract of sale. We've studied it. There are loopholes. So we corrected them and sent it back to them. It's now with them. As soon as they agree to the terms and conditions of the sale, we will go ahead.
The institution will replicate the Coconut Institute in Medang province. With the threat of the Bogia coconut syndrome, KIK made the decision to set up the research facility and seed bank in Milne Bay. Coconut varieties collected all over PNG will go through a quarantine process with Nakia before being planted in Milne Bay. The quarantine process is to prevent threats like the Bogia coconut syndrome, a plant disease that has killed hundreds of coconut in Medang. Milne Bay province, like East New Britain, has a long history of coconut plantations way before PNG's independence in the 1890s during colonial rule, and it is fitting to have a research facility in the province. The Coconut Industry Corporation, or KIK, was created when the PNG Coconut Institute broke into separate roles and functions in the commodity world. The agreement to set up the Coconut Institute in Maramatana was signed in 2016. Member for Alotau Charles Abel project and urges the landowners to make use of the money that will be used to purchase the land.
This money must be also put to something good. It's not good that the land is sold. We also want to hear what's going to happen to the money. And that money should go into something permanent.
You're watching National EMTV News. More stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Head teacher of the St. Martin's Primary School in Lae, Matthew Jaltum, says teachers' accommodation is an issue in the school. While the school currently has 14 teachers, they only have 5 teachers' houses available. Yesterday, this number was brought to 6 when they opened the new headmaster's house funded through the Lae MP's office.
The St. Martin's Primary School's head teacher, Matthew Jaltum, said teachers' housing has been an ongoing problem. With the 14 teaching positions in the school, they only have 5 teachers' houses. Mr. Jaltum says problems like these affect teachers' performances and can affect student learning as well.
We look at working conditions of teachers, and then the better they are, their living standards and so forth, the more and the best they will provide when they are, I would say, catered for in their needs.
Yesterday, the number of houses at St. Martin's was brought up to 6 with the opening of the new headmaster's house. This was funded through the Lae MP's office using District Service Improvement Funds or DSIP. Lae MP John Rosso said teachers play an important role in society, but their efforts are often overlooked. With these projects, they hope to help boost teachers' morale and education standards.
There's 22 community schools in Lae that we need to address that. Each of those schools will be receiving a headmaster's house over a period of time. We're also looking at infrastructure in most of primary schools, so we're trying to build good classrooms for children.
2 other teachers' houses were also opened yesterday at 4 Mile and the Butibam Primary School.
It's really something in which is going to boost the morale of most of the teachers who are teaching.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
More than 40 officers and cadets from the PNGDF's Igam Barracks in Leh got their first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine today. The Leh Military Area Commander Alex Hanema said while the vaccination is not compulsory, it is important because of regular overseas engagements. The COVID-19 vaccine has been rolled out in Moire since May, and teams are currently rolling out the vaccine in rural areas.
The Commander Leh Military Area and Commandant Joint Forces College Alex Barish Hanema was the first to get vaccinated today and was followed by his officers. Commander Hanema said while the jab is not compulsory, he has the duty to ensure his officers are aware of the dangers of the pandemic and taking the vaccination is their choice.
Soldiers have been asked and voluntarily they have given the names, and we are now been vaccinated according to our own wishes. So nobody from the Defense Force has been forced.
The COVID-19 vaccination rollout was launched in the Moire province on the 6th of May this year. 13,000 jabs were given to the Moire province, and frontliners including the police, correctional service and Defense Force personnel were encouraged to get vaccinated. Commander Hanema said because members of the Defense Force have regular overseas engagements, they may be required to produce vaccination certificates.
So if we have to be vaccinated in order to avoid spreading this disease, let us do it.
While these members of the Defense Force got vaccinated at the Engau Memorial Hospital today, mobile teams from the Moire Health Division are rolling out the vaccinations in the rural areas as well. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
Over 200 remandees of Leh's Buimo prison boycotted their court hearing today due to continuous delay on their decisions. The Buimo prison has over 700 prisoners, including 300 remandees, who are still waiting court decisions. According to the prison commander, Chief Superintendent Michael Wundia, most of the remandees are in prison for 4 to 5 years and some for 9 years awaiting justice. They've called on the court system to speed up their cases to allow justice to prevail. The Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary has a new band hall built under PNG Dataco's social responsibility to the Killer Police Barracks. The project is a massive makeover for the police band since 1992. The band also received instruments and new uniforms.
The Killer Barracks is home to the police band of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary. It is also the landing site of the multi-million kina undersea fiber optic cable system managed by PNG Dataco. As part of its community responsibility, Dataco undertook the construction of the hall as well as purchasing new uniforms and instruments.
We now officially open the Killer Barracks Police Band House.
MD Paul Comboy, whilst officiating the opening of the building yesterday, described the occasion as a show of appreciation to the RPNGC.
It is really an occasion, yes, to come and tick off the things that we have agreed with police to be able to fund, but at the same time establish that relationship for us going forward. I think we have very critical infrastructures here now at Killer Barracks, and it is important that we start our relationship on a good note.
The RPNGC's police band has a long and proud history that dates back to the 1930s. But for years, the band has seen little assistance in terms of a proper training facility for new band members. And this assistance is the first in almost 30 years.
The band is our icon. The band music bring harmony, peace and unity. So in our constabulary, the band is one of the important division in our Papua New Guinea Royal Constabulary, and I think we have overlooked our band and Killer Barracks for a long time. And I thank the State Enterprise Minister and Managing Director for Dataco, Paul Coimbo, and your management team for stepping in. It's lucky that God planned I'm a cable blue lens straight to Killer Barracks, so you're doing a lot for my for police, so I'm thankful for that.
Minister responsible for state enterprises, William Duma, says the delivery of this project is what the government envisions for state-owned enterprises, and that is to assist local communities as well as state institutions like the RPNGC.
They are demonstrating that together, when the resources are there and the timing is right and the right people are there, good things can happen.
Meanwhile, Dataco has invested over 2 million kina in Kila Barracks. This includes a 3-in-1 2-bedroom unit that was opened last year.
This building plus the associated works, the fencing and everything else were actually built at a cost of 2.28 million kina. And we are confident that with the new uniforms and the new instruments, the members of our beloved Royal Papua Concert event will go to the next level.
Stanley Ove Jr., National EMTV News.
Madang Governor Peter Yama is dismayed over the influx of outside police officers engaged in different police operations in the province. Yama says public servants and citizens of Madang are fearing for their lives as killings and brutal beatings continue by outside policemen. Meanwhile, the Madang Governor's court case against Madang MP Brian Kramer over his citizenship continues.
Speaking in Port Moresby, the Madang Governor says the open MP continues to be absent from a number of provincial assembly meetings. Yama says this is one reason he has questioned the citizenship of Kramer. Governor Yama says people of Madang must know the truth.
To testify, to tell the court the truth, nothing but the truth, whether Brian Kramer is true the son of the Kramer family. So it is in the best interest of this country, and we don't want it to happen again next time. And we don't want any foreign element or foreign people in this country to become leaders in the name of false pretense.
In other matters, the Madang Governor echoes his disappointment over the influx of outside police personnel being deployed to Madang by the open MP. Yama says these selected police officers continue to assault and cause fear not to just the public and community but public servants as well. He has condemned the actions by the outside police officers.
Now, those policemen must know that you are not above the law. The human rights under the law will come after you. I have now asked the family of those people to come and lay complaints, and I will assist them and support them and pay the legal fees for them, and we have to come against those policemen. And they are not above the law.
The Madang Governor concluded his conference by appealing to the Police Minister and Police Commissioner to intervene and address the current havoc and rampage by policemen in Madang. He says something must be done as people are living in fear. Yama also warned those rogue officers.
Minister, you must put your foot down. The police ministry should come under your control now. And tell the police commissioner to come down and has to deal with him. And what he's doing is totally wrong, and not listen to the Minister for Justice. All my people are making this roadblock everywhere here and there, and they're suppressing the rights of my people. My public servants are very fear now of their own lives because of the so-called policemen come in the name of rule of law.
Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
Papua New Guinea's digital revolution continues as a new online marketplace introduces Kina Bank's cutting-edge internet payment gateway. Jungle is an online market created to give Papua New Guineans in all parts of the country a platform to buy quality products. And not only that, but customers can now purchase products online using a standard local bank card issue of their choice.
A new online marketplace known as Jungle introduces Kina Bank's cutting-edge internet payment gateway. This platform is the first in PNG to accept locally issued cards. This means customers have the freedom to browse and shop across the site using a standard local bank-issued card of their choice. Visa cards and MasterCards are also accepted.
During the COVID pandemic last year, we saw that it's so hard in PNG right now. It was hard for people to get to the shops. It was hard for shops to stay open, and it was hard to find quality products around PNG. So we came up with this idea of jungle.com.pg.
As an innovative new business, Jungle is motivated by their vision to provide quality products all across PNG and is inspired by the nation's diverse geography and people. Introducing online shopping to the PNG market has made Jungle a significant part of the nation's ongoing digital development.
We've worked in PNG for many, many years, and I love PNG, but it's difficult. Life is hard. The people don't get quality products when they're out in the islands, when they're in these remote towns. So what Jungle wants to do is bring quality, cheap and affordable products to the people of PNG across the whole of PNG.
Jungle currently has over 800 products online and a fast-growing range of categories including clothing, shoes, books, electronics, safety supplies, hardware, and much more.
Ryan Bell, we've got Maku Gifts, which is a fashion label. We have TEPNG. We have about 10 more, and each week we're having at least 2 or 3 more sign up, which is great. They ship to anywhere within PNG. So we're doing that. Normally the shipment would take between 3 to 5 days, which is fantastic.
Adopting technology of this caliber has enabled PNG online shopping portal Jungle the ability to continue to grow since their launch earlier this year. And most importantly, customers can have peace of mind when doing their online shopping with Jungle, knowing they are entering their details into a secure and reliable payment gateway. Lillian Sopera Kinea, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, the Kina will buy $0.2775 $0.3634 Australian dollars, $0.3932 New Zealand dollar, and 29.99 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee closed higher, cocoa and copper closed higher, palm oil and copper closed lower, crude oil is trading lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. When we return, talks underway for road construction in Kikori and a man helping many with funeral expenses. These stories and more after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back to the news. Talks are underway for proper sealing of roads in the Kikori district of Gulf Province. Kikori MP Soro Eoe said close to 500,000 kina has been put to connecting important road links in the district. Initial survey has been completed and the District Development Authority aims to complete road sealing come December.
So Wailala will also entails feeder road that comes out from the coastal area. It's a long distance too, but hopefully we'll upgrade that road as well, put in culverts across the bridges, put the bridges all the way to Wailala East. So it starts from Belepa, Hiloi down to Harona, Lui, Poiva, down to Kwaialahu to Wailala East, right next to Wailala River itself. This is eastern side of Wailala River. So hopefully we should be able to cover road system by end of this year.
Funeral expenses can be overbearing at times, especially when families and communities are struggling financially. In 2015, a man from the Motukoi Tabuan village came up with an initiative to help communities all over Port Moresby. His Turangu Help Him House Cry program has touched many hearts.
The Veasi Daha community at Gerahu Stage 7 are in deep sorrow. One of their community members has passed away, but the challenges of the COVID-19 effects has placed the community in a very difficult situation financially.
Na anmak belum kami stop. Miga ramas heavy belum been come up. Amas previous anmak belum mating 9 plug go finish. Now I'm come and he better belum play him now.
Can because heavy blow you mean and me come back and put him on coffin, sample some refreshment blow you mean on tonight.
Lohia Boy Samuel's Help Him community efforts started back in early 2015. He has helped in many areas over the years, assisting to address issues in law and order, minor infrastructure work, education, health, youth and women programs, especially in Hanuabada, Elevala, Mirigini, Gabi, Baruni, and Tatana. Over the years, as the word spread, more people came forward from all over Port Moresby seeking assistance, and he helped in whatever way he could. Another grateful family posted on social media after the Help Him community effort assisted them with air freight from Palm to Medang. By then, the body had been in the morgue for 2 months. 4 men worked to construct the coffins, in which they built 6 per day. In a month, they make over 1,000 coffins, as the need is very high, and all these coffins are given out free. When he visited the Veasi Daha community, the 2,800th coffin was delivered.
LBS has been with this community for a very long time. LBS, he had a kind heart some years ago. And help him approach him.
You know, we're here to continue to help our people who are in need. We've been doing this for a very long time.
Lilian Sopera Kenea, National EMTV News.
Trukai Sports is next. All the details after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. In the second meeting between the two sides this season, the Belay Bears have thumped the SP Hunters 40 points to 6. The round 11 clash of the Interest Super Cup saw the Bears slick backline movement and finishing providing too much for the Hunters to handle.
The SP-PNG Hunters' form has fallen off a cliff as the side slumps to their 7th loss in a row. The Burleigh Bears again defeated the Hunters, inflicting a 30-point thumping on the PNG side, 40 points to 6. Within the first 2 minutes, Gold Coast Titans player Anthony Don opened the floodgates for the Bears, scoring the first points. The Hunters were unable to contain the Bears players with missed tackles, leading to a try for Kumul's prop, Luke Page. Gathering the ball from a grubber kick, the Bears found Jonas Pearson, who crossed the line for another 4-pointer. The Bears held the lead going into halftime, 16 points to 0. The tries continued to flow for Burleigh in the second half, with Shaylin Fuller regathering his own kick to score for the Bears. The Hunters players looking like they forgot how to tackle, allowing Hayden Schwash to score an easy try. Konatoya heaped on the misery for the Hunters as he helped himself to a try, increasing the lead for the Bears. The Hunters' lone try finally came when Junior Rao raced down the sideline to score. However, the Bears finished the game off strongly, scoring 2 more tries in the final 12 minutes, defeating the Hunters 40 points to 6. Huxley Lovai, Trukai Sports.
With a short season for the 2021 Intercity Cup, teams are starting to register points in battle for the Digicel Cup. After round 3 games held over the weekend, many players have shown class in their game, including Hella Wigman's prop forward Tommy Moire. Moire scored 2 tries in the game against the Gulf ISO, grabbing the Man of the Match award.
Coming from a rugby league background, Tommy Moire is a running Mac that comes off from the bench in the Ella Wigman team. Moire has been an instrumental forward, gaining yards in the runs for Wigman. With just 3 games in the 2021 season, Moire has kept the momentum, leading the Wigman forward pack.
Tommy Moire, like the museum's strength, individual strength. So yeah, I'm putting all boys come up, score or scoreboard, and then all boys pick up from there. And outcomes a good performance, Tommy Moire. Yeah.
On the other side of the forward position is Jan Alotau Loy, a light and lock forward for the CPG Dabaris. Wallen has been outstanding in the last 2 games.
So they come back towards the left side. Oh, here's a big run. And there it is.
Wallen was pretty good.
Leading at halfback role is veteran Roger Laka. Laka, with a wealth of experience, keeps control of the Gulf Isso's attacking strategy.
Good pass. And there it is. That should be a try.
He's bringing the leadership to the club that we need. That's good. A lot of young boys who are around him are feeding off that well. But, like I said, the continuous pressure, just stuff like that, little things that we've got to get right before next week. Yeah.
On the back line is the story of rugby union elite Max Valley. Valley, who helped the PC Ravens to claim the 2020 Sports Talk Sevens, made his debut in the round 2 with the premier team, the Lace Necks Tigers. Valley was impressive in his second game against the CPG Dabaris, scoring a try. Tigers coach Stanley Tappen says he has long plans for Valley to slot him at the fullback position.
Max is actually from where the boys are camped at Papua compound, so he's been given an opportunity. His first game last week, he scored a try. This game, he scored a try. Hasn't been doing anything wrong, and it shows the class level from another elite sport to rugby league. So we're really happy to have him. We want him to long-term fullback as a backup for Sonny. So gradually we'll work on his positional play, but he's good for us. Yep.
Suli, Trukai Sports.
And that story wraps up Trukai Sports, the weather report. After these messages, stay tuned.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports. This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus. With you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the region. Port Moresby fine or cloudy periods with cold chills. Daru partly cloudy with windy conditions, also with cold chills. Kerema and Popondetta cloudy periods with patchy rain. And Alotau cloudy periods with few showers and cold chills.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus. With you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for Tuesday, the 22nd of June, 2021. Pleasant viewing. Be safe. Bye for now.